Hi and welcome to my playhouse, and today I'm gonna bring you up to date with my solar system, and that's why we can see the solar panels on my roof here. I have 15 panels up there, and I have 3 of a different sort. So yeah, I haven't been updating you on this because I needed everything to come in to be approved and stuff before I share too much. But today I think it's time to have a look at it, because I have some videos that I want to do on it, and I better get you up to speed before we do that. Otherwise the next video is going to be weird. So let me go over here and I'll point out the panels again. These panels, there are 12 panels there. They are the same kind, and they are the same kind as the top 3 panels over here, and they are 330 watt panels. I thought that was a good number when I purchased them. Now I could have gotten 550 watt panels cheaper than these, so I'm already thinking about expanding and stuff. Then there's 3 panels at the bottom over here, and I took them off of the garage they were right there, and I thought that I was going to be moving all the panels from the garage and over here, but then I got those panels and I stopped that. So I have 9 panels left on the garage, which is also connected. So yeah, we gonna have a look at that. So panels comes in from the roof, and the 15 panels up there are in 1 string, so that's like 660 volts. So they go into this breaker here. This is actually an extra breaker. I don't think it's really needed. There is a breaker in the inverter in the basement, which we're gonna go see. But yeah, I like the idea of being able to disconnect it here. I should come up here and put the cover back on. The small breaker here is for the 3 panels up there. They're like a little bit over 100 volts. So all the way from the ceiling and the roof, I have this red pipe. I have that going all through the house, from the basement here and up under the roof, and it stops right there, and the cables go down into this thing, and they come out down here where I have the solar wires, 6 millimeters, coming in to the inverter, which is the I can't say that, the Deye, D-E-Y-E, D-E-Y-E, Deye. I should really figure out how to say that. The Deye, I don't know if that's right, but well, they come in there. I also have some batteries connected. That's those 2 big wires here, and they go over to big batteries over here, and these are the Pylontech US2000C, and at the moment we are kind of, are we charging or are we discharging? We can see that on the display here. Power is coming out of the battery into and down to the house. I like that. This gives a very nice representation of how power is doing, and we can see what kind of power is coming in. It's a bit weird that power is going out of the batteries when it's doing that much power. So at the moment the solar panels are doing 725 watts. So apparently, oh, I was lying, it's only 560 volts right now, but they're under load. And then I have the panels over here, and they are delivering and they are at 61 volts, and 493 watts from the roof and 200 watts from the garage. And today we're at 2.9 kilowatt and total 123 kilowatts. So this is brand new. I haven't had this connected long. You have to have it connected by a certified electrician and that I have been waiting for ages to get that done. So for really many years I've been playing with solar power, and I've always had the cheaper stuff. So, but well, now I thought I want some good stuff. So that's why I have this Deye, I can't say it, inverter. It was bloody expensive. It was a little bit more than $3,000 and a little bit less than 3,000 euros. So just in that soft spot. But this inverter can do almost anything that you throw at it. So it's a very nice inverter. Here in Denmark we have 3 phases into our house. That's very regular. Because of that, this inverter is a 3-phase inverter, and it's a 12 kilowatt inverter. So it can do a lot of stuff. So it's very powerful, and I totally overdid it because I never used 12,000 watts. The house, I regularly use about 400 watts in the house now that I have been in the data center and make sure that it's not using too much power. And if I turn on the oven, it's like 2,500 watts of the house. But yeah, we have 3 phases here in Denmark, very normal. And to connect that to 3 phases, when you're talking that amount of power, everything becomes expensive. This cable alone that goes from the inverter and up to the power meter thing, breaker up in my electric thingy, which is located on the first flat, now might be the 2nd floor, was about 2,000 Danish kroners, just because this is 6mm square cables individual, and there is 3 phases, 1 neutral and a ground. And yeah, so everything was expensive, but this inverter can do a lot. I have the batteries connected over here, but over here there is like an emergency output. So this inverter, which right now it's a grid tie inverter because it's connected to the grid, but I can have an output, 3 phases coming out of it that will always have power. So if I wanted to use it in a power outage, I can do that. I can just connect something to that thing and have the power come out that way. At the same time, it also has a generator input port, so I can connect the generator to it and I can charge my batteries and my house using the inverter. In the bottom of it, down there, oh, it's very dark down there, I hope you can see it. There's a thingy, it has an antenna. That's the thing that connects the data. We're gonna go and look at the data in the living room in just a little bit, but it's a locking device and it's connected to Wi-Fi, and I can see my stuff on there, so awesome. Batteries. I purchased these 2 Pylontech batteries, and they're working great, no issues with them as such. They do though have the issue that Pylontech uses lithium iron phosphate cells inside, and Pylontech has decided that they're using 15 cells inside, where everybody else seems to be using 16 cells inside, which becomes really a drag because you can't really put these together with other batteries. Even if you get a nice battery that is rack mountable and stuff, well, these 15 cells in here doesn't play nice with the similar system that has 16 cells, because the charge and the discharge voltages are different from the 2 system. This is like a 48 volt setup, and the other ones are usually called a 51.2 volt setup, and those few volts makes a big difference of when they are maximum charged and when they're maximum depleted. Kind of an issue that I've run into. So I don't usually sit down here, but this is how it looks in normal use. I have no idea why my house is using this much power right now. Maybe it's because I turned on the light up under the roof. I don't know if that uses that much power. 750 watts is quite a lot. So we might go up there and turn off the lights again, because I think that's using a lot of power. But you can do a lot of stuff here. You can check up on the battery, how is the battery doing, what the battery, blah blah blah. And the solar panels, you can see the different solar panels. You can get some graphs there, how has it been doing over the this is today month. We're just starting on November, so there's not a whole lot. So we can see the actual months. I would have liked to show you last month when I got the system, but yeah. Right now there is power going into the battery, so it's going the other way. Only 90 watts or 20 watts, but still going into the battery. We really need to go and shut off some stuff. You get very aware of your power usage when you get a solar system. So here is my electric box thing. And this one is the light up under the ceiling where I was up showing you the junction box. So this one is new and that one is new. I had help from my patrons to find the right one, and we ordered that while I was doing my Patreon video. Just this Tuesday, I think, or Wednesday, I forget, I got a new electric meter, and this is a new kind of meter. As we have those 3 phases, I'm actually able to use power on one phase and deliver power to the power station on another phase. The old meter would do so that I would pay for the power going into my house on one phase, and then I could make money off of the power that I was sending to the power company. But as those two prices are very different, I could actually be sending more power to the power company than I was receiving, and it would still cost me money. This meter will take all the 3 phases and it will look at it and it will do the math and say, well, power is coming in on this one and power is going out on that one, so I'll subtract that and this, and it will only cost me money if I'm using power, and I can get paid if I'm delivering power. And it doesn't send the information about the 3 phases to the company, but only the end result. So not the difference of the 3 phases. We can kind of see it down here. Here we have my power usage right now. So you can see on L1, first phase, I am getting in 480 watts from the grid. And on L3, I am delivering out almost the same amount of power to the grid. So it could be very interesting. Let's flip that light on the attic again and see how much power that really uses. That's on the middle one. So it uses 200 watts to turn on power in the attic. So let's turn that off again. There. So that should go to 0. And it does. So very interesting. I have to remember to turn that light off. I have like 5 fluorescent lights up there, so yeah, that was a lot of power. So I did mention that I had to have this done by a certified electrician. So he connected that thing and that thing to the rest of the stuff here, and I purchased this thing off of the company. Well, everything for him to come and connect that and also do a little bit of configuration on the inverter in the basement was 8,000 Danish kroner. So it's very expensive to have an electrician out here. And I think this thing, I can purchase this thing for 890 Danish kroner myself. And he charged very closely to 2,000 Danish kroner for the same thing, which I'm very disappointed about that. Then I had to pay the company, the power company, for the meter. Well, first I needed to pay a fee to the power company for being able to export power to them. And that was about 1,850 Danish kroner. Can I translate that to, that's about $250. So getting that thing and that thing in was like $1,200. So then I believe I'm also going to be charged for the new meter and I think that is like 2,800 Danish crowns. I'm a bit iffy about that. I haven't seen that bill yet. I do believe they're gonna charge me over the electric bill on that one. So all in all, for having all of this put in a certified and approved way, is gonna be very close to $2,000. Okay, I wanted to try and explain that subtraktionsmåler, I think it's called. I have 3 phases. There's a green, and there's a yellow, and there's a red. And as you saw up there, they're called L1, L2, and L3. So that's from the grid. And the same thing I have over here. That's nice. L1, L2, L3. So if my inverter, let's just put in some numbers. I am spending, let's say I'm using 1 kilowatt on that one, and my inverter is sending out 2 kilowatt on the other one. So that is coming into my house, and that is going out of my house. That means that I'm actually delivering 1 kilowatt of power, because I'm using 1, but I'm delivering 2. So overall, 1 kilowatt of power is going. That would be the same thing over here. So I'm not sure I need those. But let's say that the price of the power is like, I'm paying like 3 Danish kroners. It's a bit expensive, but it's not. That's Danish kroners. And what I'm getting for my, that looks like 30, doesn't it? That's very expensive. So we'll make it a small d. There. 3 Danish kroners. And what the power company is paying me for the power might be 30 cents. 0.3 of a Danish crown. So 0. And as I'm getting 2, I might be 0.6 Danish kroner that I'm being paid. So you can see the math that I'm using 1 kilowatt and I'm paying 3 Danish kroners for it. I'm delivering 2 to the power company, and they're paying me 0.6 Danish kroners for the power. So that gives me a minus 2.4 DKR at this instance, even though I am supplying power to the power company, and just because of the differences in price, I'm still getting punished, and quite a lot of that too. So the new meter that I got will do the calculation inside, and it will just tell the power company, or make the math for that. So this is how the new meter will do it. It will take the 1 kilowatt and the 2 kilowatt, and it will just say that, well, actually there's 1 kilowatt going that way, and 1 kilowatt 0.3 Danish kroners. So instead of me paying 2.4 Danish kroners, I'm getting 0.30 Danish kroner, which is a big difference comparing to have to pay. So the new meter will do the math and not cheat me as the old meter might do. Okay, so we moved to the comfy chair in the living room, and I just want to show you the inverter thingy here and what kind of data I'm getting out of it. Let's see. Here we are. I have connected my inverter through the cloud thingy, and here we are connected to the cloud thing where it delivers its data. Normally the inverter will only send data every 5 minutes, and when you just get it and everything is interesting and new, you really want to see some more data. Every 5 minutes is not enough. When you're just clicking refresh and refresh, and that's not good. So what you can do is actually contact the company Deye, and ask if they will put you down for 1 minute instead of 5 minutes. And they did that within a few hours. So right now it seems like I was generating 100 and some watts. So if we just refresh this, I'm sure it goes up. Yeah, that's more like it. It doesn't refresh by itself all the time. So right now we are producing that, and I have told it that my capacity is about 5 kilowatt peak. It might be a little bit more. Then today's production, monthly production, we are just on the 3rd day of November, so it's not a lot. And total production, well, the system was connected on the 14th of October. So the system was connected on the 14th of October. So I've kind of made 110 kilowatt hours last month. And that was half a month. A lot of people go and get some other software to do their inverter and get their good graphs. I haven't gotten to that yet. So I'm still using the stuff that comes with it. So we can see that I'm connected down here, and I already have that open here, but that needs to be refreshed as well. So we get everything new, and from the top we get a nice little drawing of how everything is doing. So right now we're getting power from the panels, and it's going mostly into the house, and the house is claiming to use 522 watts, and kind of all of that is coming from the panels. I don't know if we can refresh again. Okay, and I refreshed again. It's also coming a little bit from the battery, and that's where the inverter uses a lot of power to just be running. So kind of messed up there buying an inverter that was probably too big for my needs, because its idle power is quite a lot. So I've calculated that just the inverter itself uses a couple of kilowatts a day just to be on. So to even hit 0, it needs to produce 2 kilowatts a day. Otherwise it's wasting power instead of producing power. Today is not a great day. As you can see, it has produced 2.4 kilowatt. So that means that I've gotten 1.4 kilowatt. The rest of it, it's just going to be using itself. But it has some other benefits as well. And one of the very big benefits is that you can actually run your house off of the battery when the power is the most expensive. Today is not really, well, we're not going to get enough sun for that to be possible. Battery is at 40%. That's mostly because I've had the oven on. But here I have a, this is just from my phone. It's taken like 3 minutes ago, and this shows the power prices today. We have variable power prices, so we can see that in the middle of the night it's cheap. There's a little line here, and that's 2.1 Danish kroners is at that line. So up here we are very near 3 Danish kroners up at the red. So from about 4 o'clock in the afternoon to about 9 o'clock, if you can run off of your battery in that time period, well, you get a saving there. That's when the power is most expensive here. You can see the highest price is 3.25 Danish kroners, and the lowest is 1.81 Danish kroner, and the average is also there. So right now, that's not right now. Right now we are, the time is 14. We are there, so it's a bit higher. I didn't, I can see that on my phone what the price is actually. Now I'm paying 2 Danish kroners and 7 cents. Except I'm not, because I'm running off of the battery. Right now we are running off the battery and off solar panel. And if we go further down, I have a nice graph down here, and I have all the possibilities in the world to get what I want in that graph. and I'll tell you what I've picked to have in the graph. First we'll extract it a little bit so that it gets easier to see. So now it's from midnight. Midnight is here and now is there. And I have my inverter set to charge up the battery from midnight and until it reaches 80%. So you can kind of see it says SOC at the bottom of that black thing, 80%. And so the green line is the battery state of charge. You can see it was all the way down to 10%. That's the minimum charge I go with the battery. And then it charges it up when the power is cheap in the middle of the night to 80%. And then it doesn't use power from the battery in this period of time until 6 o'clock in the morning. And guess what? On weekdays, the power becomes expensive at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm using grid power. I'll get rid of that box. I'm using grid power, and grid power is the red one. I'm using the red grid power, a lot of it when I'm charging the battery over here. And then I'm running off of grid power in this period of time until here, 6 o'clock. And you can see the battery power, the green thing, starts going down, and that's because the red thing is all the way at the bottom, which means that I'm not importing any power from the grid. So we'll just get rid of all the middle of the night stuff here so we can zoom in on when I got up. So the purple line is my usage of power. When you see the purple line, it's a whole lot of mess, but like from here and to there, you can see it goes a little bit up in this area, and that's my refrigerator. I wish I could point instead of having that thingy there. So my refrigerator is running from here to about there, and then it's off for a while, and it turns on, I think, about here again, and turns off about there. And then we have this tower here, that thing, and that is my well pump that is pumping water out of the basement. That is running right there. And then we have a peak over here, which I don't I don't know what that peak is. Apparently it's a lot of negative power going out. I'm not sure that is correct. It's not taking it from the battery, at least. So yeah, but at that point, at about 8:30, 8 o'clock, 8:30, you can see a blue line coming up, and that is the solar power. And it has not been a great day for solar today, but actually just refresh it because I see the sun is shining outside now. Even though I see sun coming in through the windows, it's not really producing a whole lot because after 2 o'clock the sun is on too much of an angle to my solar panels to actually produce a whole lot. If it had been shining like an hour ago, it would have been great. So every time I refresh it, I have to do this again. So we get to see what I'm messing with. We'll zoom in a little bit more. So a thing that really kills the battery power is my oven. If you see the purple line, that's my oven coming on. So the oven is on and it heats up, and then it starts to throttle to keep the oven warm. And at this point my pizza was done. But if you then look at the green line, you see that it takes quite the dip. So it was actually at 42% when the oven was just started. Maybe it was at 41%. And when the oven was done, it was at 35%. But then it started charging up again a little bit because the blue line after here is over the purple line. So when the blue line is over the purple line, the battery is charging. And here I have no idea what I did that. That is really weird. that the purple line is that low. Yeah, and so the battery has been charging a little bit from when the oven came off and went up to 40%, took a couple of dips, and now it's probably gonna go down again because the sun is so low and on a bad angle. And up here we see this what the solar panels are doing. We can also see the individual. We have PV1, that's the panels on the roof. We have PV2, that's the panels on the garage. And yeah, we have the different voltages from the grid. I see that I have 240 volts and 238 volts. So the voltages are higher than I was expecting. So that was a little bit of an insight to my solar setup here, because I've been expanding it quite a lot. And yeah, the previous one I had was very cheap. I could get away with buying the cheapest stuff. When you wanted to connect it to the grid here, you have to have an approved inverter, and it has to have had all kind of tests done to it to ensure that it's not sending noise and doing weird stuff to the grid, mostly for safety, but I'm sure they also don't want the crappiest of the crappiest inverters just for reliability. I don't know, but it becomes very expensive. So the inverter was about 3,000 euros, the batteries was about 800 euros a piece at least, panels was like 2,000 euros, connecting it was like 2,000 euros. So I do need to use a lot of power to ever get that investment back. But yeah, but I do have some interesting videos coming up messing with this system, but there are naturally limits to what I can do now that it's grid connected. So mostly I'm gonna be messing probably with the batteries first, but I might also want to connect some more solar panels at some point. And at the moment I only have solar panels on that side of the house, and right now the sun is on that side of the house. So I really want some panels over here, so that when the sun turns around the house, so I'll get some power over there as well. This was mostly just to bring you up to date so that I don't have to explain everything in the next video, when hopefully we're gonna be showing some new products for this setup. I have gotten some awesome help from a patron of mine, Münster. Thank you very much for your insight on both the inverter and the breaker thing. That was very helpful, plus all the data to send to the electric company. Wow. So thank you very much. Other than that, thank you very much for watching my videos. Do subscribe to my channel so that you can see me again, and have a really nice day. Bye bye.